Well, the season's ended.
Yeah, I know.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
it hasn't been. It's been a great season. Unfortunately, Carlton did not play finals.
We'll be back
Not
next year.
featuring
We'll talk
finals,
about
yeah.
that.
We missed out
Yeah.
on the grand final.
Yeah, I
a
know.
couple
That
of
was
weeks ago.
that was hard.
And you went to the grand final. So tell us about your experience.
You know, it was one
How
of
much
the
time do we have?
Yeah,
it was actually one of
that's
those
all right.
How much time do we have?
Tell us.
All right, here we go, boys. Strap in. It was weird because I tend to like to be behind a computer, and it sounds crazy, it sounds weird, but I love being in the studio, in the space.
Yeah.
I want to have the boys over, like all my mates. They know what I do.
Yeah.
But I'm at a position where I'm like I can get in and out of like socializing.
Yeah.
To creating really sick edits and everything like that. And
Yeah.
I mean, I was fortunate enough to be invited by Toyota because we did a bit of work during the season.
Yeah.
To go to the grand final, and it was
Yeah.
awesome, and it was like mingling with some awesome people. And
Yeah.
you know, Tom Green was there, which
Oh,
was
wow.
sick.
Yeah.
Shout out Tom Green, get some shoes.
Absolutely.
No, but it was such a crazy experience. But I had a few mates back at home, and I said, hey, this is like, can you clip these things down?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, sweet, man. We'll chill in the studio. We'll do that for you. And they're like, they're my boys. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like,
absolutely.
when you're building something and you have people that genuinely believe in you,
Yep.
Yeah.
people like help you, and I appreciate that so much.
Yeah.
So I was at the game, and I was just like, you know, the internet sucks at the MCG.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
does.
it does,
They need
yeah,
to fix
it
that
does,
shit.
yeah, it does.
Yeah, they didn't fix that shit, but who
Yeah.
knows? So I'm like going back and forth. I'm like, I knew straight away of things like Snoop Dogg's playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Iconic moment.
Yeah.
You know, I just remember there was like Will Ferrell going, Snoop the Loop. And I'm
Yeah.
like, let's get that together.
Yep,
And then,
yep.
For example, Paddy Dangerfield running to the toilet again, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I just filmed Paddy Dangerfield drinking a coffee before
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah.
Is there a way we can combine the
Make
two?
it-
Yeah.
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 But the experience is unbelievable.
Yeah,
I was a little bit twitchy in terms of getting enough content out because
Yeah.
it is the
Yeah.
biggest day of the year.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
But just to be there and experience it with some awesome people as well,
Yeah.
and then even after, you know, got an opportunity to go into the September Club
Yep.
and,
Yeah.
and mingle with some people there, which
That would
is
have been a pretty
That's
cool
cool,
experience.
yeah.
oh, it was, and a lot of imposter syndrome because you know I'm a boy from the West,
Yeah.
you know, who did it tough, like you know, and to be there in a very corporate environment,
Yeah.
you
Very
know, and
bougie
everyone,
environment.
Yeah.
A very bougie environment.
very bougie. It's like the
Yeah.
birdcage for anyone
Yeah.
that doesn't know what it is, and it's like
Yeah.
you're seeing a lot of people, a lot of the who's who,
Yeah.
and some people coming up to me and be like, "Man, I love your stuff," and you're just
Yeah.
like, "Fuck, man,
Mm.
this is crazy."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, like the people that are coming up to you.
yeah,
and
it's
saying
like
that,
pinch
yeah.
me moments.
Yeah,
you know? And then, you
absolutely.
know, you're just dapping up Nick Nat Nui as he's walking
Yeah,
past.
wow.
And it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
all right,
that's
man,
pretty cool.
this is
Yeah.
it. This
Yeah,
is the pinnacle.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. What was the atmosphere like at the MCG?
It was great, but you know, I don't know if have you been to a grand final? Have you been?
No,
you haven't. So,
unfortunately.
grand final's a different one. It's a very corporate experience. So
Yeah.
prelim final, I would say one of the best prelim finals that I ever went to, and it's a shame that we didn't win the grand final. Was 2018.
Yep.
When
Ooh,
Mason
yeah,
Cox tore it
Richmond,
apart. And that
Richmond,
was the atmosphere there was nothing like that.
Yeah,
and I think
yeah.
prelim finals will always be better than
Yeah,
grand
yeah.
finals. And
Yeah.
it was incredible. There was no empty seat in the house, but
Yeah.
in terms of like how rowdy and how, you know, emotional people get
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
is nowhere near as what a prelim final
Okay.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to the 23 prelim.
Did
against
you?
GWS, yeah. That was
Yeah.
probably one of the
That was good.
craziest
I was there
experiences.
too. Yeah.
I went to both the qualifying final against Melbourne and the GWS.
The qualifying final wasn't as big because Melbourne were terrible that day.
Yeah.
This could be a Collingwood podcast, man.
That's
so
all right. That's all right. That's all right.
Yeah, hold
Yeah.
off
We can
there.
just- we can just
Yeah.
go off on our own.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right.
Yeah, so
Um,
still side bottom, really good on both sides of it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. We haven't been to a grand final, but we've heard a lot about it being a very corporate,
Very corporate.
suit and tie type thing.
Yeah.
And prelims. I think Nabil, you mentioned it last week where you said something about prelims being great experiences.
Yeah, so it's been well known. Lots of fans turn up to prelims.
Yeah.
I can't relate to a prelim. The only thing I've
We had
got,
the one in Brisbane, but
nah,
that was
yeah, I went to the semi final. It was the
Elimination
semi final.
final last year?
The semi final, Carlton Melbourne.
Yeah.
that was for
Oh,
Carlton
yeah.
supporters.
Is that,
That's
Blake Acres.
Blake Acres. So that's the loudest I've seen the MCG,
That was
and that
pretty
was
loud.
sick.
Yeah,
that was a
So
crazy game. Yeah.
that's my closest to a prelim. The closest Carlton's probably been. I think it was a better crowd than the prelim
Is he about
because
to
it was
cry,
at the
man?
Gabba.
I'm like-
Yeah,
I'm already
I
starting
think that that experience still gives me goosebumps. So
Yeah.
yeah, hopefully next year
That's
we win the
cool.
flag.
Yeah.
we tried to convert him. He doesn't
I've
want to
been
listen to us.
every
Come on,
episode.
man.
It's convert to the Collingwood Football Club. Forget it.
What do you think about Brisbane winning? How-
Look,
around
from-
the-
throw that
from a
in.
content perspective, Brisbane are quite good. Their supporter base is really loyal.
Yeah.
They're very
Yeah.
good. But look, you just got to give them their flowers, man. This team.
Yeah,
So I go through a lot of footage, and I was going through Chris Fagan's press conference after the 2023
Yep.
grand final loss,
Yep.
and full credit to this man. He is an incredible human being, and the way he carries himself.
Yeah.
It's if you're looking at it from any other supporters, you'd be like, I want my coach to be like that, because the way he carried himself after that 2023 grand final loss was incredible. He said he's very positive. He made the link between that Brisbane team losing to Hawthorn losing in 2012, and then going on to do a three-peat, and look what we're seeing now.
And speaking of Brisbane, you reckon they off the top can they go back to back? Big question, but
they have gone back to back.
Back to back. Yeah.
I think honestly, list profile. I think they had 3 players in that draft last year that played, which is incredible. That hasn't been done in a long time.
Yep.
And then you add the likes of Oscar Allen.
Sam Draper.
Yeah, Sam Draper.
Sam Draper might not play till halfway through the year.
Because of his injuries.
They'll lose, but we'll get to it a little bit later on. They'll lose Archie and Sarcevic maybe.
Maybe. But then they've got Kitty Coleman. And then they got Jackson Payne.
McCarthy, Tom Duday.
Annabelle, I think, is coming through the draft. Apparently, he's meant to be a top 5, top 10 pick.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
It's scary.
All the academy picks.
And I think I'm a big believer of if you've got those experienced players still that are like on-field coaches, like the Harris Andrews, incredible footy mind.
He's a great
Dave
captain
Zorko
too.
Also, I know he probably cops a lot of flack.
Yeah.
It's a great
from me.
I mean, for the footy in general, I feel like he sometimes has brain
fades,
fades, which is
what he's just a very intelligent footballer. I think for
Yeah.
someone like that who's just probably doesn't have the most exceptional speed, not the best kick, but it's just the footy smarts, the ability to reinvent himself to go across the back
And he was
line.
right there from the start of their rebuild.
Exactly, man. And I think they've just got players that are really smart and high IQ that coach on the ground that it's just going to continue to keep going. And I definitely think they'll make a prelim at least next year. And then what happens there is it's all about peaking at the right time.
Yeah.
So,
which I think we struggled with.
Yeah, Collingwood struggled with,
it's a lesson there. Don't if you're on top of the ladder by round 10, you're not winning the flag.
I did call you guys June premiers.
He's been giving us shit for
I said June premiers
for the better part of the
6 months.
He's just like, you guys are the June and July premiers. You're not going to do anything.
And
I'm just like, and then when we started losing, I'm just like, oh my God, I said, I can't do it.
It's a great few episodes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we count premierships. He counts number 1 draft. So that's all right.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a bit about the game. The game was kind of in the balance for most of the day, up until like halfway through the third quarter. And then Brisbane kind of just stormed away in that last bit of that third quarter and the fourth quarter. How did we find the game looking up until that point? And where do we think it was going to kind of go after that point?
I thought Brisbane almost had the edge just over them. I think they had something like 19 tackles very early in the first quarter. So Brisbane came and they were switched on.
Yep.
So I think it shocked Geelong a little bit. They didn't expect that.
Yep.
So it was a lot tougher than I thought. I thought Geelong were going to run away. I thought they had a qualifier final. They had the week off.
Yeah.
I thought they were fresher. Brisbane were sort of back against the wall.
Yeah.
And then obviously their run of injury as well. So I was really surprised that Brisbane were able to run out the game the way they did.
Yeah.
So for me, that off the top, that was a real shock in that sort of third quarter.
How did it look like from the ground's perspective? The pressure and
what was it like?
I was a coach up there. I was kind of dissecting it up. And look, the first 5 minutes of the game very interesting. I think Brisbane were under the pump. There was some ominous signs. They were fumbling the ball. And Geelong were on top, but they just didn't get any scoreboard pressure in there. And that's a testament to how how Brisbane's backline is like. They're so
organised. Held up.
Harris Andrews, Lester.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
These guys
Darcy
are
Gardner.
and Gardner, and these guys are really smart with the way they defend.
Yeah.
They're not all going to be all Australians. Obviously, Harris Andrews is probably the best defender I've seen since probably Rance. Rance was really good. Just only a short period of time.
Yeah.
So Rance, Scarlett, and Harris Andrews are just superstars.
Yeah.
And I think that's the reason why I think they stayed in the game, because it was very easy for Geelong. I think Geelong dominated them in the first half of that first quarter.
Yep.
And if they put scoreboard pressure on,
it would have been.
It would have been a different game.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the grand final, once you're ahead, I think the dynamics change.
Yeah.
It's interesting, right? And then I think at half time, it was a different team that came out after half time.
Brisbane,
Brisbane really
Brisbane
came
and
out.
Geelong. I think Geelong was, like you said, I'm not sure what happened. They were stuffed.
Yeah. They were kind of starstruck almost. Not starstruck, but like caught off guard. The way kind of Brisbane's pressure was from the beginning was great. It's just their ball handling wasn't that great early in the game, Brisbane. But once they came back out in that third quarter and they activated Neil as well, it kind of changed the dynamic of the whole game.
I think this credit goes to Chris Fagan. And this is a side that probably not many people have seen him in terms of breaking down the game. Not all AFL 360 here.
Jared Waitley.
Gary Lyon.
David King. What's their brand? What's their one book?
Absolutely.
Don't get beat by what you're not. What happened was they were pushing an extra to the stoppage, and this is why Cam Rayner had all these tackles.
Yeah.
And they nullified Sean Manor. Sean Manor's like very underrated. And I was sitting next to Jarrah Davis at the time, who's on the KO call-up. And he was kind of trying to break down the game as well. And it was like both of us in there and was like literally in the lab. And he was kind of explaining to me how it all worked. And I was very interested. And it made a lot of sense. And Neil coming in, it's the perfect sub.
Yeah.
You know, and he's very clean.
Yep.
Got first hands to it. And I think it made Will Ashcroft better because he didn't have to be the first one
Yeah,
the ball.
he was
under. Yeah.
There was a goal that Will Ashcroft kicked where I don't think it gets talked about how good Neil's hands are in and under.
In
that
the stoppage.
stoppage,
In that stoppage. And I think Neil allowed Will Ashcroft to flourish, and he was the reason why that midfield looked so much better. Cam Rayner's coming in.
Yeah,
and
steaming.
Nailed the tackles.
He was just tackling everyone, man. It was crazy.
Even early in the game, I think we were watching it. It was in, I believe, Brisbane's forward half, Geelong's defensive half. He ran into one of the Geelong players. He literally just pushed them out of the way, like physically pushed them out of the way. And then he did that to the second person. He gave away a free kick. But like just that pressure and that aggression he came in with. And those last couple of tackles against Bailey Smith and
Blitzers.
And credit to Rayner. He didn't get a lot of the ball, but it was the stuff he did off the ball. He did. That was really, really important for Brisbane.
Kind of reminds me of Bo McQuarrie.
He does. He plays that role, right?
Yeah,
and he's a number one draft pick, and a lot of people like them. It's probably that ego to be like, hey, number one draft pick. I got to get myself an All-Australian Blazer. I've got to get 2 goals, 20 possessions a game.
Yeah.
But I think as Chris Fagan will look at Cam Rayner and be like, mate, that's all you need to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, you potentially be a 3-time premiership
player.
player.
Yeah.
And what he's doing, like I would be, if I'm a Brisbane supporter, and I go, I wouldn't think Cam Rayner's a bust.
Yeah.
Because
I don't.
It doesn't need much of the ball either.
Yeah.
Doesn't get much of the ball.
Yeah.
Probably not going to win you a Brownlow, but he's the perfect player that you can plug in for that premiership kind of.
Yep. And he hurts
tilt.
you. He hurts you with his disposals. Yeah.
And look, he hurt us. He hurt me the week before. When we got
Absolutely.
And like he's a dynamic player, which you know the scoreboard and the history books won't look at and go, oh, Cam Rayner, he averaged 1.5 goals in 15 possessions a game. Who cares? Nah, you had to see him.
Yeah.
The streets won't forget him.
Yeah,
the streets won't forget him. Exactly.
Big moments.
Absolutely.
He stands up. Did it against the Gold Coast. Crucial goals, crucial times.
Massive.
Yeah.
So,
I think we mentioned the stat against Gold Coast he had was he broke Dusty's record for the most broken tackles in a game.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
We need those stats highlighted a little bit more. I think it's just that's what matters.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care about your 40 possession games. Let me know how many tackles Cam Rayner's breaking.
Absolutely, and how influential in the pressure that the game had.
I want to talk about Tom Stewart. We brought him up last week. We brought him up the week before.
Yep.
How important would he have been to Geelong? They've missed him.
How much did they miss him?
How much did they miss him?
I'll let you start off with that.
Oh my goodness. I
Tom
was
Stewart.
saying this and I say there is a reason why good teams get to the pointy end of the season. And that is because of how structured and how there's good teams have coaches in the back line.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this is exactly the reason why Bulldogs struggle a little bit this year because they have got a star-studded team, but they don't have any experience. They don't have any coaches across that back line.
Yep.
And you look at Geelong, Tom Stewart is one of the most organised backmen in that team. He might not be...
Pulled him the conductor last
year. Exactly.
And
I
he
think
tells the players where to go and
you look at the teams that played deep in that final, even Hawthorn with Battle and Barras.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was their first year for that club. I'm scared to think how they're going to be next year because they're very smart footballers too.
Yep.
And Collingwood, when Jeremy Howe's not in our team, we're a much different side.
Yeah.
And he might not be the best defender, but just in terms of just going, hey, you go here.
Yep.
It was a big missing piece for Geelong.
It was like Harris Andrews on the other end.
Yeah,
exactly. And the pressure came on. You know, obviously you had Henry, who had to do a little bit more. Guthrie, but it just felt like that Stewart being missing from that team was a big hole to fill.
That Geelong defence, from our point of view, or even from my point of view, they looked lost. I'll be honest.
They did. Yeah.
It felt like everybody was trying to play catch up with a role that they don't really play normally.
Yeah.
So like you mentioned Henry, he looked like he was playing catch up with trying to learn how to do Stewart's role as much as his own. And it kind of made that Geelong team a bit uneasy, if that makes sense. It kind of made them unsettled. So like normally they all fit in well and they know what they're doing, no problems.
Yep.
Whereas because there was no Stewart to kind of conduct and lead, it was like everybody was trying to play catch up with the role that's missing or the role that they don't have in the team. And it made it interesting for them.
It was sort of like, again, what we talked about last week. It meant players like Bailey, Lohman, and Charlie Cameron got off the leash.
Yep.
And their opponents got lost.
Yeah.
And normally Stewart would have ensured that if their opponent was elsewhere, someone else would have covered. So
yeah.
Or he would saw it played out, or he would have taken their role. So Cameron got off the leash. Bailey would kick. Was it?
I mean, they all
3-6. Lohman got in on the act. Yeah. So yeah, it really hurt them.
The fact is, like their midfielders kicked a lot of goals.
Yeah, that's true as well.
Kicking 4. I think it's just like I would have liked to see like Max Holmes played across the back line.
He did,
Yep.
So I'm interested to see how many CBA centre bounce attendances he had.
Yeah.
And Bailey Smith's always going to be there. It just almost looked like there was no accountability with their midfielders, which obviously puts their defence under pressure. Already an undermanned defence without Tom Stewart. So interesting review. I mean, after they're done with the Man Monday stuff, I'm sure they go through it.
They're not going to have a fun time. The man of the hour, almost the man of the week, the man of the game, William Ashcroft.
Yeah.
Yes.
2-time premiership player, 2-time
Charming.
Yes.
Literally,
literally
every single photo I've seen of him this weekend has been him and Prince Charming.
Yeah.
2-time Norm Smith medalist, back-to-back Norm Smith medalist.
Yeah.
What was his game like, boys?
Incredible.
You
wow, incredible. Incredible. Him and his brother get compared to the Dacos brothers a lot. Now they both have one premiership, Levi and Will now. But
hey, tread lightly.
I know. I'm going there. Whether they're better than the Dacos brothers, maybe a conversation for another time. Just skirting the conversation.
Yeah, here we go.
Speaking of Ashcroft, he was really good. He kicked goals. Was good in the middle.
Yep.
And like you boys said earlier, once Neil got in, he was even better. So big game player. Was really, really good around the ball, and it was just great to watch.
And
and just quickly, the goal his brother kicked.
Oh, the one from outside.
From
50?
outside. That was one of the moments of the grand final.
Yeah,
so,
definitely. I think even his ball use was absolutely amazing.
Incredible.
There was a stoppage on the wing there at one point. I think it was like halfway through the second quarter or something. He was down and under, and he was literally like on all fours.
Yeah.
But he still managed to get a hand pass out.
Yeah.
And that led to a Brisbane goal. And like when they were looking back at that play later on, after the grand final, they're just like, this is the type of hunger.
He's under the tutelage of Lachie Neale, a 2-time Brownlow medalist, and he's learning his craft from Lachie Neale, one of the stars of the game. So
definitely, I think those boys are incredible. Like they're great players. That is a conversation. Dacos Brewers. I got that in my head now. You know what? Before this grand final started, I just said Ashcroft can't win a second because the conversation. Everyone's going to be like, hey, is he better? Instead, he won a second, and then he won a Norm Smith medal as well. So, but look, I would say Ashcroft, he's a beast. He's very clean. He lives and breathes the game. Did you see his Norm Smith speech?
Yeah.
So this guy's thinking about next year.
Yeah, he was.
Man, just enjoy it.
Yeah, it was.
God damn it. 21 years old, you've got 2 Norm Smith medals.
2 premiership medals.
2 premiership medals, and you're just like, nah, I'm just thinking about going back again. And it's like, you know what? He's a beast. And look, I think he's fortunate he's in an incredible system as well. I think he's a great player. Take nothing away. Him and his brother. I reckon Levi's got potential to almost surpass because I think Levi's
agree with
got a bit
that.
more dash.
Yeah.
I think Ashcroft is clean.
Will's
Ashcroft, all of them. But I think Levi, the way, like you said, that goal that he kicked early in the game,
just big.
It's just he's got that explosiveness. That's what's going to win you games in the future. And it's a scary thought to think both of those. Like 21, 19 or 20?
Yeah, 19 and 21,
yeah.
They got another
crazy,
10,
man.
15 years in the game.
So. Along with the other younger boys they have, Sam Marshall, Jasper Fletcher. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. It's very scary.
It's scary.
I have a question for you boys.
Yeah.
Do you guys think he'll be the future captain of the Brisbane Lions?
Will?
Yep.
Probably.
You'd think so. I mean, they've got some incredible young talent. Like Logan Morris is probably the best young forward that I've seen in a while. They've got Will Levi, which is crazy.
I mean, maybe co-captains
and
if
Jasper
Brisbane.
Fletcher. Let's not sleep on Jasper Fletcher.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great player. They've got these. It's incredible.
20-year-old as well, by the way.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Ty Gallup also.
Sixth game, and he's won a grand final,
Premiership player.
premiership player. Yeah, so
I think it just comes down to like they've got all the ingredients.
Yeah.
It's just about the drive. I think when you get so much success, what I hear quite
Early
often
on,
is when you get this success early, you always think it's going to happen every year.
Yeah.
And then
Yep.
you just don't know. I think Will is he's a professional. He came into this league ready made.
yeah,
Yep.
And there's only a handful of players that have done that. Nick Dacos obviously one of them.
yeah,
But I think if he leads by example and some of these boys just go, hey, we need to go by what Will does.
Yep.
Then, man, we're witnessing a dynasty. We're going to witness one of the best teams in the modern era.
Look, I'm ripping this straight off SEN and ripping this off Fireball Mondays. Was Brisbane's second grand final win? Now they played in three grand finals. They've won 2.
Yep.
Do we consider that to be a dynasty?
I mean,
Or do
no,
you need the 3?
I
3
feel like
grand
you do.
finals.
I think
They've
back
been
to back is not.
they've played in almost 6 or 7 prelims or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
You can go back to back, like Richmond, for example.
Yeah.
You know,
But they won one.
They won 17,
Yep.
19, and 20.
Yeah,
Now, they didn't win
3 in a row.
3.
yeah.
But if Brisbane win a third,
Yep.
now
Oh,
it might not be next year. It might be the year after.
Yeah.
Then give them the
let's
dynasty.
dynasty.
Yeah.
If you win 3 in a space of 5 years, you're a
Then
dynasty.
Which is
yeah.
Geelong in the late 2000s.
2007, 2011,
9.
and 2009.
Yeah,
That's it.
okay.
3 in the
So-
5 years, I think you
Right on
classify as
the
a dynasty.
edge of a dynasty. Yeah. Fair enough.
Speaking of Geelong,
Yes.
Jeremy Cameron was probably the biggest talking point from that game. He got injured, I believe it was halfway through the second quarter.
Yep.
Big collision with Paddy Dangerfield. Probably the one player you do not want to run
Yeah.
into on the football field. Paddy Dangerfield. And what we've now learned is he's broken his arm.
Yeah.
Or fractured his arm or whatever it is. But Geelong decided to keep him on the field at the time. Do we think that was a great...
He had that great tackle. He
I
was,
would say,
was a-
do we think that was a great idea?
I think Jezza decided to keep himself on the field.
Yeah.
He's a
What-
country boy, man.
Yeah.
More interestingly, was that a Geelong decision or a Jeremy Cameron
That's
decision?
100% Jeremy Cameron grand final where if it was early in the game, I think the game was in balance.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you have to admit, when he went and tackled that Jasper Fletcher,
Fletcher.
Yeah.
that was incredible. It's how he landed. And
yeah.
they resulted in Max Holmes kicking a goal
Yep.
to give Geelong the lead the final time. That
Yep.
was the last
Yeah.
time
They led.
Geelong
Yeah.
led.
Yep.
And, these are the moments where you go, you're here, you can rest later.
Yeah.
I mean, I certainly wouldn't, but it just goes to show how tough Jeremy Cameron is.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
And I will not stand for anyone questioning
No.
modern footballers
No,
because
yeah,
that
no.
was incredible
Yep.
what he did.
But do we think that it kind of created not so much a liability, but a bit of a disadvantage to Geelong having him basically?
They
with a broken
didn't
arm
use
on
the
field?
sub. They didn't use the sub for Jeremy Cameron anyway.
Well, interestingly
him on,
enough, and I don't know if you heard
Chris
this
Scott-
as well, Chris Scott had a lot to say about the sub
Sub,
rule being
yeah,
an issue
yeah.
for them in the game because apparently it took them too long to figure out what was wrong with him.
Yeah.
And then, they didn't want to use the sub at the time or whatnot. And then he just said he's so glad the sub rule was done. I mean, ideally, if they thought his guy's injured, he's not going to have the impact we want him to have.
pull
on
the
field.
trigger.
Do you just pull the trigger?
Or was
Is
it?
it-
Or do we just kind of
Use
drag
it-
it on like
No,
Geelong?
I think it's you go, hey, you know what it is? It's a cop out from
Yeah.
Chris because
Yeah.
you know what, you're a coach, you deal with what's there. It
Yeah.
happens to every other team.
Make the
Yep.
call.
And I'm like, you make the call. So Jez
Yeah.
is there, he's injured, he's
Yep.
a key position player.
Yeah.
You're not telling me that you don't prepare for this.
Yeah.
You've coached. How many years have you coached?
Yep.
This isn't the first time you've had to deal with this obstacle.
Yep. Absolutely.
You've got Jezza Cameron, who's a key position player. You're
Yep.
in there. Don't blame the sub rules. I know you said it's not sour
Yeah.
grapes, but it's like,
It's like he opened a conversation and then didn't really go there,
mate,
Chris.
it's the worst
Does
thing,
it
and
all
I'm
the
like-
time.
I'm like, you've got to live by the sword, die by the
Yeah.
sword.
Yep.
You go, hey, if I'm getting 50% Jezza Cameron,
Yeah.
Yep.
that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to try and deal with it. This is the cards that I've been dealt with.
Yep.
And whether you have a sub or not, players get injured, players go off.
Yeah.
What do
Yep.
you do? Whether
Yeah.
it's
Work around it.
Yeah.
you work around it, and strategically you've got to think on your feet. You've got you got assistant coaches there for you that reason as well.
And speaking of Geelong, and Chris Scott, what's next year looking like and the future looking like for Geelong? We think Brisbane will probably, hopefully, win another couple of premierships or continue this dominating.
Yeah.
Might
Geelong,
paper bags.
Geelong, is the future just as bright? Teams don't always come back from grand final beltings.
Yeah, but let me tell you something about Geelong. Never finished bottom 4 in the AFL era.
Oh, wow.
Never
very
finished bottom
interesting.
Good areas from you.
Very
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
Never finished bottom 4 in the AFL era. And I'm telling that to a Carlton supporter.
Yeah, wow. You know? Never finished 4.
If you had a stamp, if you had, you know, when you get a coffee and you get a stamp every time you get a coffee and you get a free one.
Yeah.
If you had that for every time Carlton finished bottom 4, then this guy would be getting free coffees for life. That's what it is. Like, he'd be just going bang.
Even when it has nothing to see, I'm not the only one.
Yeah,
Even when it has nothing to do with Carlton.
I don't blame him.
I agree,
man.
Fair enough. One last player.
Sorry, but that's it, man.
So
Geelong,
no coffees for Geelong.
No, man, Geelong, they just find a way.
I agree. I agree. They've been finding a way for so long. We said it a couple of weeks ago, bro. You just need to offer a farm and a Ford Ranger and everybody's down there for fun.
Charlie Curnow wants to go there as well.
We'll speak a little bit about Charlie Curnow in a bit. Their captain, Patrick Dangerfield, probably the last thing we'll talk about before we move on from the grand final. Patrick Dangerfield was almost nowhere to be found.
In the toilet.
Drinking his coffee and in the toilet and breaking Jez's arm. That's about it that happened on grand final. How do we think his lack of impact actually affected Geelong on the weekend?
It's interesting. I wouldn't have thought he was going to have such a bad game.
I mean, I don't think anybody did.
I agree. Yeah.
I don't think anybody thought he was going to have the week he had the week before, but
it's a big one. I think. Was he used in the correct way, or are we taking enough? Are we giving enough credit to Brendan Starcevich?
He played a really good game.
Great game.
Played a great game on him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Starcevich doesn't lose too many times.
Doesn't lose too many times. I would have loved to see, from the outside looking in, I saw Paddy Dangerfield play a more centre-half forward role.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see him play more inside.
If they put him in the middle,
like it did the week before against Hawthorn,
literally.
But even then, he was playing high half forward, and it was working for them, right?
Yeah.
So I think what they lacked is that contested beast to get clearances. Clearances win games.
Yeah.
Will Ashcroft, the reason why he won a Norm Smith medal, he was the leading clearance getter
on ground. Yep, absolutely. And even Brisbane were dominating in the clearances. I think at half time or something, we looked at the stats and Brisbane were up by like 10. The clearance differential was like 10 plus.
It was.
Which was killing Geelong because Bailey Smith alone couldn't do it.
But Bailey Smith's probably not someone who wins. Like, I mean, he wins a bit of contest ball, but not as much. You need someone who's a bull in there. And you need a Paddy Dangerfield in there. And I think again, I'm having a crack at
Atkins is a bit quiet as well.
Exactly. Atkins probably not much there. I'm having a crack at Chris Scott here because I think he was outcoached.
Yeah, absolutely. And fairly so. And it just wasn't Geelong's day from the looks of things.
Watch him get Zach Merritt now.
Zach Merritt, Petrarca, Charlie, everybody. The last thing I want to kind of mention when it relates to like grand finals, premierships and all that kind of stuff is, and I've been saying this to Nabil off camera a lot, I'm just not a big fan of it, handing out 2 premiership medals to the captains and the coaches. What are our thoughts on that? Do we think it's a good idea? Do we think they should just keep it traditionally the way it was? Because the
captain gets 2 medals, does he?
So the coach gets the Jock McHale medal and a premiership medal. Hence why I was telling Bill, Chris Fagan's been handing out his second premiership medal to the other players that don't get one for no reason.
Get one free.
Literally. And they gave Lockie Neal and Harris Andrews 2 medals as well, a premiership captain's medal and a normal medal. That was the first thing I picked up when they were presenting them with them. I said, why are these guys getting 2 medals? So, what are our thoughts?
No.
I'm
not down with
not
that,
a fan.
Man.
Should they just give them the normal premiership medal everybody gets, or should they at least give them one that says premiership
medal?
Captains?
No. Captain, screw you guys, man.
Interesting.
Bro, I don't care. I don't want to see the captain. Say captain. It's a team effort. There. The coach just gets a Jock McHale medal. That's it.
AFL, you heard that here first. From the boys, scrap the second medals you guys are handing out to people for no reason.
You know what, though? I do feel for like the Jared Berries of the world. It's a tricky one because I'm like, man, you play the whole season and then you don't get it. Like Oscar McInerney, you thankfully got one.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of participation stuff.
Awards.
You don't want to just say.
Right down your lane, Nabil.
Not a fan.
Exactly.
You're not handing out medals for everyone.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you played a game, you don't want to be like, hey, someone played a game, they get a medal. Like, I know in the NBA they do that.
Yeah, but they give it to everybody.
Everybody, man. And I'm
the
like,
same thing in the EPL. They give a medal to everybody.
And it doesn't. I like the idea of if you played that game, you are, and then in the history books, you can say, hey, dual premiership player. Instead of, hey, he played one game, then got listed and he's a premiership player.
I get what you're saying.
He had no impact.
Because we've had this argument so many times with me and Bill, and I'm by the belief of like, if let's say someone's played the whole season, they get injured in a prelim, they don't play the grand final, I think they deserve a medal.
Internally, do whatever the hell you want.
Acknowledge them. Okay.
Brisbane Lions, use your soft cap or whatever it is.
Get them rings or something.
Get them rings, man.
They don't
get Jared Berry a ring.
But they don't deserve a premiership medal.
Yeah.
They don't. Fair enough. I mean, listen, Cheets has said the same thing now.
Very strong opinions on that one.
So yeah, they should stop handing out 2 medals to the coaches and the captains.
Agree on that.
And then Chris Fagan can stop handing out the second medal.
Chris Fagan, bro. What the hell?
Luke Beveridge did that a few years ago as well, didn't he?
But Luke Beveridge gave his actual medal.
Yeah.
Whereas Chris Fagan
take the second one.
Where's my second medal, guys?
Absolutely. Where Chris Fagan's been giving away a second one that he's kind of got. He's like, I don't need 2 medals.
Yeah.
Very interesting. But yeah, that was the grand final. Season's done. I'll quickly ask you guys, and this is off the off the hook. What are your predictions for next year? Who do you think is going to go all the way next year?
Carlton.
Brisbane.
The Navy Blues
supporter, and he said Brisbane. No, it was bait. I knew he was going to say Carlton.
I'm like, oh my
Baggers are going.
I'm like,
number 17.
I think Brisbane. I think Hawthorn are very dangerous because of they had Battle and Barris.
Yeah.
And I think I rate them really highly because they're really good defenders. Barris is an unbelievable defender.
Yeah.
And I think I always stick by this theory that if you're organised down back and you have like generals, you are going to be featuring deep in September because that's what matters the most. And I think Brisbane will continue because, Harris Andrews, best defender in the comp.
Yeah. And he's only 27, 26, whatever it is.
Look, I think Fremantle should be better.
They'll be up there. It's
Interesting.
Yeah.
They should be better.
We've been calling them frauds all year.
Rare frauds. Yeah.
Exactly. But I think you go Alex Pearce in the back line, Brendan Cox. So they I think just need to get over that hump. Just like you can't be losing to Gold Coast at home in a final.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's
fair call.
You just grow up, like Dimo would say. But the Fremantle.
And I think Freo's list profile is sort of that sweet spot. They don't have too many holes in their list at the moment, so they can take the next step.
Good Gun Ruckman,
Shai Bolton as well.
The midfield is good. 2 or 3 stars.
Their forward line's clicking.
Yeah, so
you know what I'm saying, Smokey, big one to have a breakout year, All Australian next year. He's one of my favourite players to watch. That's not for these. Is Hayden Young.
He's such a great kick as well.
If he stays on the park,
I reckon he wins a Brownlow next year. Fremantle.
Wow.
Fremantle make the top 4.
Yeah,
and he stays on the park.
Yeah,
you got Sarong, Brayshaw and all that, but Hayden Young's the one that's going to cut you up with
he does. I agree with his running carry.
And if Fremantle make top 4 and they look like a legitimate chance, when I say top 4, it's not like on the 4th, teetering.
Like they're comfortable.
I think legitimately, let's say top 2.
Yeah,
Hayden Young's winning the Brownlow.
Wow, you all heard it here first.
You got to go with the bold statement, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Nabil's favourite thing to do.
Just throw out delusional.
We've
been saying a common theme.
Episode 1, we've been saying that.
There is a fine line, Nabil, between delusion
and Carlton Premiership. Can't do it.
Okay, listen.
Cripps, Brownlow, Charlie Coleman. Now I'm losing it. So
you lost all credibility on this podcast.
I've been trying to stop this the whole time we've been here this year.
We'll see how we go.
Interestingly enough, now that the season's over, almost like a little mini season starts, which is the trade period.
Trade period, yes.
And a lot kind of goes on and happens around the trade period, and obviously players moving clubs, some crazy things like a bunch of captains wanting to leave their clubs, which has been wild this year. Obviously, free agency, a bunch of players that kind of go, I'm sick of my environment or the team I play for now, or I want more money, whatever it is. And they kind of move on to either back to their home state or a team that's kind of offering them a better deal. The first one I guess we'll start off with, and this is a bit interesting conversation. Brandon Starcevic just played in the grand final or just played in the premiership. He's a 2-time premiership player at Brisbane. And there's a lot of rumours around him heading out west to West Coast. And from the sounds of things, West Coast are offering him twice as much money as he's on at Brisbane now.
Well, it's a conundrum that Brisbane have faced. Like, you've got this much talent and you have to pay.
Yeah.
I mean, every good dynasty has that. I think Starcevic is someone who's valuable.
Yep.
But I would say concussion issues by...
That was the first thing,
That's he's talented, he's a great player, but because of those concussion issues, he was obviously taken off as well because of his concussions. I would say you're happy to just let him walk.
Do we think they would have... Well, obviously they would have because of health reasons, but would they have been as comfortable taking him off if they weren't in the position they were in on Saturday? if they, let's say the game was a lot tighter than it was.
I think he was taken off because of the HIA.
HIA. That's what I was going to say. If it wasn't for health reasons,
it had to be taken off
it's
anyway.
It's a good question to ask, though, because I'm like, I wonder how thorough they are with this.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to put anyone on. I know Port Adelaide had some interesting ways of doing it. The game was tight, and they're like, stay out in there. But I'd love to know how it's all done, and if it's, if your best player who's on fire gets a bit of a knock, and you're like,
may not do it.
Close. Yeah, exactly.
And the AFL might make you do one now as well.
Yeah, they do, but it's like
it's
all the doctors up to the doctor, right?
Yep, absolutely. So, quick fire. Is he staying or leaving?
Going.
Yeah, he's going. Too much money on the table.
Ooh, okay, interesting.
The next one, we've got Callum Archie. He's got an offer, I think 4 years from the Adelaide Crows.
I was going to say, I don't think this one's a conversation.
Going.
Yeah, the way he I saw after, he was kind of just going, he was taking it in.
Yeah.
And I think this, it makes sense. He's back home.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's a WA boy.
Yeah, he is.
Correct me
if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah, go home. And then after that, the next one we've got is Rowan Marshall.
More of a talking point. This one.
Talking point. Going to the. Now the Saints have brought in TDK, and Geelong probably do need a ruckman. With
not probably. I think they definitely.
They're subbed off.
I reckon this is going to be a massive move for St Kilda to keep him. There's going to be such a big significance on ruckman that can be mobile.
Yeah.
And Rowan Marshall and TDK are just like both very good around the ground.
And
I think they can exist together. It's not as much like Darcy and Jackson. Because I think Darcy's not as mobile. But these two are very flexible. You can almost have one behind the ball and have one.
And Marshall can go forward.
Exactly.
He's very capable forward.
I think he stays.
Oh wow,
interesting. Nabil?
I think he goes. I think Geelong will offer him enough. I think with TDK he'll play far less ruck, so I think he'll go.
Do we think him going and staying is dependent on what he's, I guess, getting paid or making, or is it depend on team success?
I think it's
like, would he think
it's his role?
It'll be his role.
I think if he sees solo ruck is where he's going to get the best out of himself, and then you hit your contract triggers when you're solo ruck. You play games. You're less likely to get dropped.
So
he might go, okay, my job security
at St Kilda
is there, but I would say, from an outsider looking in, I actually want to see these two play together because I think it's an advantage for St Kilda.
Marshall did play well with Ryder. Marshall and Ryder did play well together. As a tandem ruck.
But I think Marshall was a bit younger then. He was kind of still learning,
and it was almost like he was going to take that first ruck role.
We've never seen I can't say in the last 15 years. I don't think we've seen two ruckmen,
two proper ruckmen,
ruckmen. Richmond won a flag without really a ruckman. They had.
And Freo kind of do it with Darcy and
Freo's the only one that kind of do it. They haven't won a final.
No, and they've struggled with it at times throughout the season.
I mean, everyone has like a pinch hit ruck, but no one has like two people that can be two players that can be number one rucks in many teams. So
I mean, Melbourne tried it with Gawn and Grundy, but it never worked.
And it didn't work. But they're both very
very much number one solo rucks.
Yeah. They need to be in the ruck or they can't play anywhere else. Whereas, I think Marshall, I'm like, you can almost put him forward, forward. Yeah. Whether he stays or goes is up to his, him going, oh, do I like my role? I would like to see St Kilda have him just because I think it's going to keep him, and then because it's just going to give him a competitive advantage.
Interesting. The next two on the list is probably a bit of fun that me and Cheats can have. My check and Elliot. What are our thoughts on that? I'll let you start, and then I'll kind of give us my thoughts on that as well.
You
want to give us your thoughts?
I'll give you quick thoughts.
He's just gonna talk shit.
I don't want any of them. Elliot, I think they both will go, not even as a hater.
I think,
Elliot, not as a hater. I think Elliot got a 3-year deal at the Gold Coast for more money.
Family's up there too.
Yeah, family's up there. Yeah. I think Myercheck's got a 3-year deal at Melbourne, a bit more money, and Melbourne and North too. So I don't know, maybe for a bit of a just a retirement fund at the back of their careers.
I mean,
respectfully, I obviously mean that respectfully.
Yeah,
and I think it's a good opportunity for Collingwood to regenerate their list a little bit as well. So
yeah, I'm with you. I think as a Collingwood fan, I really respect what they've done for the club. Like Myercheck's been incredible. He's probably always been paid unders too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll just go in terms of the club culture.
Yep.
In terms of output, Myercheck, if we keep him, it's just it's not going to get much. But I think you got to reward someone who's been there for so long and done so much.
Yeah.
But then it's a cutthroat environment. If players are going to leave when they want to leave and do whatever, and vice versa, clubs are going to do the same. Yeah. So I think for the betterment of the club, I think you let Myercheck walk.
Okay.
I think you want to keep Elliott.
That's what I was going to say.
That's what as well.
I think if he goes, he goes. Remember, Elliott's had an incredible season this season, but prior to this season, you probably said he's got a 1-year deal. That's
which was what I'm assuming he got.
He got 2, and Gold Coast offered him 3. I think he goes to Gold Coast, and I just say good luck at Gold Coast.
Yeah.
And I go, this is the first year that he had without any sort of injuries. Always been injured, right?
Yep.
I think Collingwood need to regenerate your list. I have a mini regeneration. And for God's sake, please just recruit a forward. Recruit a key forward.
I mean, they recruited Charlie West, but obviously it's going to take a kid some time.
But he's the baby Mychek.
And I think Jack Bueller you're looking at from Sydney.
He's got he'll replace Mychek, but I don't know if he's going to come in and have that immediate impact, which Craig McRae clearly loves. He wants premierships now.
Yeah.
Can I ask an interesting question as a Collingwood supporter, as a footy supporter?
As a footy supporter.
Well, he's not a Collingwood supporter. It's a very Collingwood-related question.
No, far away.
Do we think Ben King will actually come down to Collingwood next year?
No, not a chance.
I think the Suns, because now the Suns are...
He's a free agent next year, by the way.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. I think the Suns now are competing. They played finals last year. They had a taste of final success.
Better than ever. I don't think so. I think
the last two I'll kind of throw at you guys, and then we'll kind of wrap up this trade talk. Is Charlie Curnow and Christian Petrarca, the 2 C's? Do we think they're leaving? Do we think they're staying?
Off track, baby. Off track.
A bit off track, to be honest. This is the second year in a row. He's begging to leave Melbourne almost.
He's made it clear today. I think Melbourne are far more open to letting it go.
I think they made it clear last year as well.
Melbourne are open to it this year, and they've been
prepared.
They're ready.
They knew.
And I think it's good time for him to depart.
Yeah, he is. What are you going to do? Like Melbourne, you can't hold him to this contract.
Yeah.
He didn't really do too much. You're better off getting value for him now.
You'll still get 2 first-rounders for him now. I think Melbourne came out today and said they want a player for him. So
they think they can. They genuinely think they can compete.
Why'd you say they genuinely think they can?
They genuinely think they can compete, and I think they can't.
No. Okay.
Is this some of this Carlton delusion as well?
I don't think. I think they've got a good young group, and I think they can make the 8. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think they can win a flag.
Okay.
I don't even think they can make the 8.
Yeah, but I'm just being. If you get the max out of Melbourne, they can potentially make the 8. They've got so many issues. They don't have a forward line.
No, they don't.
They almost don't have a defense as well because
they're letting go of Stephen May as well.
Yeah, and I think they've just got you need those kind of guys, and then they're older guys. Clayton Oliver's not gonna.
He's not going to get better. I don't think he's going to get better.
He's never going to be.
He's not going to be 2023 Clayton
I'd love
Oliver.
to see Clayton Oliver because I'm a big fan of Clayton Oliver. I think I'd love to see him there, but I'm like, he might request a trade.
I mean, I don't think it's worth their time now because he's not.
No, and
they won't get as much back.
If Petrarca's going, I think you keep Oliver. You keep one of those two.
Yeah, I think Langford's probably their best. Going to be their best player.
Judd McVie, another young player, is asked to go to Freo.
Yeah,
so
and Max Gawn's aging. How many?
He's 33 or 34 now.
Another ruckman.
Yeah, they do.
So
they got problems
everywhere. They're in the
everywhere.
hurt locker, and I just don't think. I think you just try and get us. They just seem to regenerate.
Yeah.
But from what I gather,
a full rebuild.
Just a mini rebuild.
Every team's scared of a rebuild after watching North Melbourne rebuild for
and Carlton rebuild for the last 30 years.
I mean, you guys made a prelim, so it's not necessarily. So it's like you can say it was a successful rebuild.
I can't say that. I can't say that. Brisbane. I always I
make him feel better.
No. I mean, Brisbane started their rebuild at the same time. Look where they are. So hopefully we regenerate our list and somehow win a flag in the next couple of seasons. Speaking of Carlton, Charlie Curnow is the other one.
Yep.
My views are gone.
Wow.
My view
to where?
I don't think where. Yeah, we'll start.
I would
you
say
said gone. So gone to where?
I don't think Geelong. I think Geelong will try and they'll try and get the deal done at Geelong, but I don't
think they have anything to give. Yeah.
They don't have the capital. I think Gold Coast is the real suitor, or Sydney.
Yeah.
Sydney.
You never rule out Sydney. Yeah.
Because I think Sydney are the one that they go, hey, we were in the premiership window. We had a down year. We knocked off Brisbane at the Gabba.
Yep.
So they would come out of that going, hey, we've got a lot of confidence that we can go to there.
How do you see the trade getting done?
I think there's draft picks. Because Carlton will look at, if Curnow's gone, they'll look at trying to regenerate their list. They wouldn't try and get...
Carlton have come out and said, we want a player. So
I think every team's going to say that.
It'll be straight picks.
I think picks, Florent,
Even if you get one of their big men, I think Carlton need it to be completely. If they're
like
losing,
a Hayden McLean or something like that. Yeah.
I don't know if McLean's
I
going to make it.
don't think any of them want to go. So
yeah, Logan McDonald's might be an interesting one, but he's a WA boy.
Yeah.
But also, I think they invested too much time in him.
Yeah.
Joel Amati would be a cool one for Carlton.
Yeah, I wouldn't want him. I like Joel Amati, but
he doesn't like Joel Amati.
No, I do like Joel Amati. Just
I think we didn't say you didn't like him.
No, just saying if it's Charlie, it's got to be a star or he doesn't go.
Can you
be
honest?
No.
Can you be honest and actually say what you want in return for Charlie?
Yeah. My honest. I'll tell you.
Tell me what you want.
All right.
These are the teams that are there. Sydney, what do you want?
I want Goulden, Heaney,
or
Warner. No.
That's why I brought it up.
I'm serious. Kerno is a full forward. He's won 2 Colemans. He's got 4. He's under contract for 4 years. So I want to hold on to him. So he's not going, then that's fine.
Name your next team.
Next team.
Gold Coast. Jed Walter.
I think
I think
I
can happen.
But Gold Coast don't want to let go of Jed Walter.
Okay, this is. I know we're getting caught up here with this stuff. I had this conversation. I said, if I'm Gold Coast now,
Jed Walter, a first rounder. Done.
Jed Walter, first rounder. That's a win for Gold Coast.
Fair enough. It's a win for Carlton too. To be honest,
I rate Jed Walter.
I rate him too.
So
I reckon it's
I'll be
a
okay
win-win.
with that.
Yep. He won the half-time race.
Charlie's a freak. They don't need their first rounder as long as they have enough points for their academy players.
Yep.
And I think Jed will be a star.
So I'm okay with.
So there you go. I think Gold Coast is probably
Geelong.
Okay, Geelong, go. Get to give us your Geelong take.
Max Holmes and Bailey Smith. That's it. And that's what happened.
Bailey Smith was a bargain before, like this time last year.
He was.
You see what I have to deal with every week.
He was.
Player values changed so much. Like if you told me, like Dan Houston went for one first round, one late, and then
John Noble, Joe Richards,
John Noble,
a bunch of
and John Noble had a better year than.
And even
Dan Houston,
player currency is just like
Daniel Rioli went for pick 6.
Exactly. So you just go, when everyone goes, no, this player's worth this much, and you got to go, no, you just got to figure out the role. I think Charlie Curno's role is such an important role.
Yeah,
you got to go.
Tall forwards don't grow on trees; they're hard to get. So
exactly, and that's why I would go Melbourne. I'd be like 2 first rounders for Christian Petrarca, taking it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because key forward, different story.
Yeah.
Midfielders, you just go, wow, that's all right. As long as, is Petrarca a top 20 midfielder?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Now definitely.
2 seasons ago he was, but now it's not. So
yeah, absolutely. I think we'll wrap it up here today. But before we do that,
no.
We're going to be here for hours if we continue this.
Before we wrap it up, we've got some quick fire questions for you. Unpopular footy opinion you stand by.
Okay, I like the stand rule.
Okay.
Because the idea before that, I was thinking about this on Grand Final day when I was watching it.
Yep.
It allows the game to go quicker. I think the adjudication of the stand rule sucks.
Okay.
I agree with that.
The stand rule, before stand rule, players would always just always cut the angles and stuff off.
Yeah.
But I think when it's done properly and the umpires know how to adjudicate it, then it actually makes the game go quicker. So this is an unpopular opinion. If I said people will be like,
what are you talking about?
Idiot, man.
Before you get to, you just changed my mind on the stand rule in 30 seconds. I used to hate that rule. I'm like, it's the stupidest thing in the world.
It's just umpired poorly.
But now that he said if it's adjudicated, if once it's umpired properly,
Next question. App you open first thing in the morning.
I know.
Mobile phone app you open first thing in the morning.
Instagram. I was trying to be creative.
That's right. Emoji you use the most. You overuse the most.
Emoji?
Yeah.
The muscle.
Yeah. Finish the sentence. Social media would be better if
you boys blew up. Baby.
I like that.
Hey, I like this.
Yes.
And the last one.
If you could co-host a podcast or make a video with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh, dead or alive. That is crazy.
Dead or alive.
I'll go Michael Jordan, man.
Yeah.
Only because is that the amount of stories in the 90s because there was no it's a time that I understand what happened.
Yeah.
Anything before that, I'm like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Way before my era. We can see it now. And we have access to the VHS
and
all that kind of stuff. And you hear about stories, but you don't know.
Yeah.
Whereas now you know every story because everyone gets on
it's social media.
Where I'm like, no. Get Michael on here.
Yeah.
We'll talk about everything.
We'll bring him into the studio.
And we talk everything.
Yeah.
And
it's almost like Godfather stories.
Just
crazy shit. That
it's like the Kobe stuff you hear about Kobe. It's like, Kobe looked at me and he was like, "No, we're getting up at 3 a.m." brother.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the most interesting thing about those stories and those kind of things is back then there wasn't that immediate like outlet for information to
No,
go
it
out
wasn't.
into. So you didn't wake up and something happened at 7 a.m. and by 9 a.m. the whole country knows about it.
The podcast with Michael, every time he talks would be a clippable moment. You would go viral. And that's the thing. Anytime he opens his mouth, and the aura that man has is like, I don't think anyone has as much aura.
Absolutely.
You know, I watched The Last Dance and I'm like, man, this
is crazy.
Moves, this guy moves. Like there's a way he goes and I'm like, all right.
It's actually crazy. But yeah, that brings us to the end of our episode for this week.
Huge episode, guys.
Very massive episode. It's been a pleasure having you on.
It's been a pleasure being on, man. This is the real shit, man. And hopefully in a couple of years' time, we can look back at this and be like, man,
we did some things. Yeah, absolutely. It's been great. It took us a while, but we finally got to getting things together. As always, a big shout out and a big thank you to everybody for tuning in, sharing, liking, subscribing. Nabil hasn't told you guys to subscribe in a couple of weeks now.
No. They've been doing it.
But Cheets is telling you this week, get onto it.
Subscribe, or he's just going to be spinning out more delusional shit.
Subscribe, people.
Absolutely.
My point of contact is you, right? When I speak to the thing.
Absolutely. But also a reminder, last week we went out onto the Grand Final parade.
Yeah, so...
And the festivities down
bunch of interviews.
Yep, MCG Park. There we go. The t-shirt from last week.
Sticks.
Absolutely.
Baby.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. We did some content, so that'll be coming out
very, very soon.
Yeah, in the next couple of weeks, so keep your eyes out on it. And until next week, Cheats, you want to say goodbye to the people?
Yeah, goodbye. We've got a few cameras here. There's a whole setup over here. I appreciate it. Really, really nice to see you boys doing your thing, and I'm feels like, it's an honor to be here.
It's an honor to have you on. Absolutely.
And I think you boys you carry yourself so well. Even before here and the way you communicate and do stuff. So if you're listening, make sure you give it a follow. Give it a like. And if you see my stuff, don't hate on me too much. We're just
having fun.
But we're just having fun, man, and we're trying to make way for the new gen.
Absolutely. And with that, we'll wrap up. Take care of yourselves, guys. Until next week. Ciao.
Peace.